Okay, hi everyone. It's really great to see all of you back here with us and also to see a bunch of new faces. Welcome if this is your first class with us. It's really great to see you and welcome you. And we hope that we will have you with us for many more classes to come. For those of you that are returning, I haven't seen you in a few months, so it's great to see all of you here with us today. I want to welcome everyone. This is the kickoff of our summer programming. For many of you, we haven't had a class since April or March, but as I've been presenting in our recent communications, we have done a lot of developments over the past few months, and we are very, very excited not only about the summer, but about the year to come and a lot of the exciting events we have planned for you. I just want to introduce, I have three teachers, sorry, here with me today, two of which are new to our team. First of all, my name is Jordan Mittler. I'm sure you've received emails from me or seen me before. We have Sophia Walters, our assistant director, here with us today. And we have Shane Gordon and Sarah Kalimi, both of which have recently joined our team and will be with us throughout the next year. So we're very, very excited. If you have not been receiving emails or communications from me, you're welcome to reach out to me at the end of the class today, and I'm happy to add you to that so that you could receive all of our updates. So I always like to begin our classes just by stating our mission statement, which really hasn't changed. But it really represents the goal of why we continue to do what we do and why we have been doing this program for at this point now over 5 years. It is the responsibility of the younger generation to educate seniors about technology. The goal of Mittler Senior Technology is to cure the issue of social isolation within senior communities and to help seniors feel connected with our new world of technology. Our personalized classes strive to educate seniors on how to communicate with friends and family in the manner in which the world is accustomed to today and how to use technological tools to enhance and simplify their daily lives. This has been what we've been passionate about and why we continue to offer this professional programming. We hope that you will support our mission as much as you can. And by being here, you're already doing that. And we are very proud of our numbers over the past few years. We have thus far educated almost over 2,000 seniors in 10 different countries and taught over 200 classes. And these numbers are just continuing to grow as we attract more and more seniors. And our goal is to reach every single senior across the globe and make sure that they are all familiar with the real fundamentals of how to use their technology devices. Now, one more announcement before we get started with today's class on online shopping, and that is that for those of you that enjoy this class and are interested in enrolling in a full class with us, and what I mean by full is by purchasing one of these two classes, you get access to 10 lessons of a professionally recorded course that we actually put money and effort and dedication into. I recorded these in a studio and they've been uploaded online for about a couple years now. Our computer basics class, the original Mittler Senior Tech class that I created 5 years ago, which thousands of seniors across the globe have taken and have enjoyed. If you are not in that group, I really encourage you after today's class to go to the site at the bottom of the screen. I'll put this up at the end of the class today, portal.mittlerseniortech.com. And when you go to that site, you'll have the ability to sign up for one of the two classes. The computer basics class is $5 a class and it's 10 lessons. So it's a grand total of $50 for all 10 lessons. And our advanced computers class is $75 or $7.50 per class, also 10 lessons. Both of these are really, really amazing classes. If you need any assistance getting started or you're not sure what class you would like to start with, you're welcome to reach out to me. I'm very responsive on email and happy to help with any issues. I'll put this screen up at the end of the class today to help for those of you that would like to take a picture or write it down, but I just wanted to make sure I got the announcement out early on. Okay, let's move on to today's agenda. And I also want to point out that we tend to keep the participants on mute during this class because of the number of participants. We can't have just people kind of calling out and asking about personal questions. You are all welcome to use the chat function, which you can click on at the bottom of your screen. It says chat. It looks like a little text bubble. If you're on a tablet, it should be at the top. And this allows you just to put in questions if you would like, and we'll see if there's something that we would like to cover, we'll make sure to cover it. If we don't think it's too relevant, we'll disregard it, but you're always welcome to email me or one of our team members after the class, and we're happy to answer it that way. So that's how I'll give you the ability to ask questions either through the chat, or you could email me following the class. Okay, the agenda for today's class is we're going to begin just by talking about some general concepts that apply to all online shopping websites in general. Then we're going to go on to Amazon, which I'm assuming everyone here has heard of, even if you haven't used it or you haven't used it too much. I'm sure everyone here knows what it is. And we're going to spend a lot of time focusing on that today. We'll do a demo where we'll actually examine the process of finding an item, purchasing an item, etc. And then we'll end the class by talking about how to stay safe on these sites, because although they are really fun to use and really simple, there is always a little bit of risk when you're using an online site, especially when you're dealing with purchases. And we are going to give you some kind of key tips that we think are critical to be aware of when you are online shopping. So that's basically the format of today's class. We're going to start, like I said, with some general concepts. So the first thing I'll mention before I pass it on to some of our other teachers is the idea of a specific search bar. And what this means, I'm sure everyone knows the term search bar. That is usually what you have at the top of your screen, where you could put in, a question or some sort of topic that you're looking for. Usually you find this on the internet. When you open up a platform like Google, right? The first thing you see is that search bar where you could put in, your request. Now, what's really nice about these online shopping sites is that they have a specific search bar designed for their site that is limited to what they offer. So what I mean by this is Amazon, for example, when you open up the Amazon page, it has its own search bar, meaning that any sort of keyword or search term that you put in that search bar, the only results that you're going to get are products that are sold by Amazon, not by other companies, not in other countries, etc. Only things that are offered by Amazon, therefore kind of limiting your search to what's there. For those of you that do not know where you want to buy the product from, usually you want to go to the Google search bar. You want to, before opening up one of the specific sites, you want to go to the internet. So for example, if you want to buy, some shirts, you might benefit by putting that into Google or the internet before opening up a specific site like Gap or Old Navy or a specific clothing site. But these specific search bars allow you to search only the contents of what that website is contained. And when we open up the online shopping websites that we're going to look at today, we'll make sure to point out where this is. It's usually found at the top of the screen towards the center. And this is usually where you start your search when you're trying to find something to purchase. Okay, next thing we're going to talk about is filtering a search. And I'm going to pass it over to Sarah, who's going to explain a little bit about this.
Okay, so sometimes when you're searching for something that you're looking for, it can be a little bit overwhelming with the amount of results that come up. So let's say if you're looking for like a pot or pan for your kitchen, there's actually a way to filter the search and make it more specific so that Amazon or any other online shopping website knows in specifics what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a pot or pan, you could do the material, you could filter it for what kind of material you like or the price that you want, and especially if like what category it's in, which is homes and kitchens.
Perfect. Thanks, Sarah. And I think everyone will understand this a little bit more once we open up the site and kind of show you what these are. But the idea of filtering, relates the same way you filter like water, right? Everyone filters their water. You're drinking filtered water, where it takes out the stuff that you're just not interested in, right? So when you put in something like the word apple into the Fresh Direct search bar, to find food, you're going to get apple juice, apple sauce, packs of apples. You're going to get a variety of different items, apple cider. I mean, really a bunch of different things. And therefore filtering a search will allow you to basically get rid of those unnecessary search items. And you'll understand why this is important, because sometimes when you put in a search term into one of these sites, you could get thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of results, which is really unreasonable to go through. So by filtering the search, you can narrow it down to maybe 10 results, which is a lot more reasonable. And you'll see when we open up the site, how filtering really makes a difference when you're searching online. Okay, the next general concept is the whole idea of taking an item, finding it, and adding it to the cart. And I'm going to pass it over to Shane to explain a little bit about this.
Hi everyone. So adding to the cart is just like what you would do in the store. So when you find an item that you like or that you're considering to buy, you would put it in the cart by clicking on a yellow button or different, it depends on each site, but a certain icon on that site that looks like a cart. It would say add to cart, but you're not buying it. It's just like you're considering it just like you would in the store. And after you add it to the cart, you would see like a list, like just like we'd see like in a regular cart on like the daily, like in a shopping, like when you go shopping. So like when you see like your items, you can then choose from the cart if you would like to proceed to purchase them, or you can delete them as well. Each item has this button that you can press, and it's just like everyday shopping.
Perfect. Yeah, so I just want to reemphasize the idea of adding to the cart. You are not purchasing the item when you do this, but rather you're expressing interest. This is something that you found online, you like it, you know, that there's definitely a chance that you buy it, but it's not something that you've kind of confirmed yet. The same way when you put something in your shopping cart, you could always remove it before going to the checkout line, but you're putting it in because you saw it and you're interested in it and you need it and you're thinking about buying it. But it's the same thing online where they have this virtual cart where you could kind of save items that you're considering to purchase in this list. So that going to checkout is just a little bit easier as opposed to having to remember everything you want to purchase and find everything at once. Okay, now the last thing we have here is suggestions in history. And this is actually a really useful tool because it actually allows you to do something that you can't really do in an in-person store. This is one of the things that's unique to online shopping. And I'm going to pass it over to Sophia to explain a little bit about this.
Yeah, hello everyone. So suggestions, or what we call a history on an online shopping experience, could be something along the lines of, let's say you're shopping for a set of golf clubs on Amazon. It's this really unique feature where the next time you get on Amazon, it may be suggesting you things like a golf bag, a golf hat, something closely related to items you've looked at before. This can be super helpful in the way of prompting new items that maybe you weren't thinking of or were going to look at next. It sort of saves this knowledge of what you've been looking at and therefore prompts future items for you to look at. Something titled Your History is when a website like Amazon almost keeps track of things that you've been considering looking at, to where you can get back on your computer 2 days from now and look at your history. This shows you things you were looking at that maybe you forgot about, and you can click right back on and resume looking at them, unlike whereas in person you maybe don't have this option to go back to the store and sort of rewind, oh, what's the history of what I was looking at. The online shopping experience gives you this feature. And I should also note that this is a feature that you can turn off on most websites too, if you don't want this sort of suggestion or history feature.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's definitely a really great feature that I think as you begin to use these sites more and more, you'll kind of understand why they're so helpful. And especially when you go to a site, not for the purpose of, I know what I want to buy and I want to purchase it, but you just want to browse. It makes it a lot easier when the website's kind of pushing out items that they know that you're already excited about because of the purchases that you've made in the past. So these are just 4 general concepts, general ideas that when we open up the online shopping sites, I would like everyone to pay attention to the specific search bar that you'll find at the top of the screen. It allows you to search and find items only in the site that you're searching within. Filtering a search allows you to knock out unnecessary items that you're just not interested in. Adding to the cart is when you take the item you're considering purchasing it and you put it in the cart because you have this mentality. Yes, I most likely will buy it, but it's 100%. I'm purchasing it. And then finally, suggestions in history, which allows the sites to share with you items that they think that you would be interested in purchasing, and also save items that you've purchased in the past and give recommendations of what they think you would want to purchase next. Okay, now we're going to really narrow in on one of the most popular online shopping sites out there. It was one of the first. It's something that people use now on a daily basis, and it's what we refer to as Amazon. That most people just know about just because it's in the news every day. It's one of these big companies that people tend to be aware of. Amazon is really famous for the idea that it's a shopping website for purchasing almost anything. Usually these websites are kind of designed for a specific category, right? So Barnes & Noble, you would go to find books, right? Gap, you would go to find clothing. Fresh Direct, right? That's a site you would go to purchase some food items. Amazon is really anything. Like when I say anything, I really mean anything. You could purchase every single department, and we'll show you the amount of departments they have, whether it's clothing, technology, houseware, food items. They even have accessories. Just like if you could think of an item that you could want to purchase, it's 99% available on Amazon, which makes it a really, really nice site to use. It's also one of the simpler ones in terms of getting an account and using it and finding an item. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to pull up the Amazon page, and we're actually going to do a little demo with you and show you some of the features and kind of walk you through how to find and purchase an item. And we'll also keep in mind the 4 general concepts that we just mentioned and where they are found when you're searching on a website like Amazon. So I'm now going to open up the Amazon page, which you could do very simply by opening up the internet, whichever internet browser you usually use. So you'll see I just now opened up the Google homepage on my Google Chrome browser. And it's very simple. You could just put in Amazon into the search bar, the Google search bar, or at the top, you could put in the website, which is just very simply Amazon.com. So I'm going to do that and put in Amazon.com. And you'll see once I put that in, I will be taken to what's called the Amazon homepage, which has a variety of different buttons and things going on. And although it might look slightly overwhelming at first, as you begin to use Amazon more and more often, you'll kind of understand how to navigate this. I would say if you're coming to Amazon, you're coming because of one of the following 2 reasons. Either you have an item in mind and you're going to the site because you want to purchase it, or because you want to browse through the items that are kind of trending. What is going on right now? What time of year is it? What are people purchasing? And you want to see what's available online. The same way you would browse through like a catalog or a magazine when you go to a market or a store in person. So whether or not you're going for option 1 or option 2, it's important to be able to navigate what we call the Amazon interface, which is this homepage that you're looking at. And I'm going to pass it over to Sarah just to explain a little bit about what's going on here.
Okay, so the first thing here is the specific search bar, which is Amazon search bar, where you could search for whatever you need. And if you're looking for something specific, that's where you would go. Also right next to it is there's a drop down for the filters, and if you need that, then it specifies things that you might be looking for in the category, so it does make it easier for you to look for things, and it takes away all the other options. Also, there are suggestions on the interface. So right now it's the summer, so people are going to the pool and people are buying sandals. So those are some suggestions right now for the summer. And then also people are going to be going back to school soon, so are getting supplies for those. So these are just suggestions for the time of year, and yeah, that's the interface.
Perfect. Yeah. So when you're browsing, sorry, you want to add something?
Also in the top right-hand corner is the cart.
Perfect. Yeah, the cart, I would say, for almost all online shopping sites will be at the top right of the screen. It's usually there, and it right now has a 0 in it. But as you begin to add items, that number should increase. Yeah, so as Sarah was explaining, this is the interface. It's always changing because the time of year is always changing. Things that are popular are changing. And obviously, once you sign in with your account and the site recognizes things that you've purchased in the past, it will begin to recommend items on this page based on things that you've bought in the past. So you'll see there are sections such as bestsellers in computers and accessories, frequently repurchased in the grocery section, so food items. Oops. If we scroll down more, there are items in Amazon Basics, which are kind of tech items made by Amazon itself. Looks like there's some sort of item called Amazon Live, bestsellers. So these are things that you're welcome to scroll down. Trending deals, right? So you can see if there's any kind of sales on certain items. And yeah, and then you reach the bottom. And then if you want to have a more kind of customized experience, it obviously makes sense to sign into your account. And I'll just mention, I've been mentioning the word account a lot. I just want to make sure it's clear that to use almost all online shopping sites, an account is required. And what this means is you need at some point to put in your information, your contact information in order to save what you do under one roof. Meaning, if you're not signed in, the stuff that you're doing on the site is not being kind of saved in one person's name, but it's just general on the internet. Browsing you could usually do without an account, but once you reach the point, I have an item and I want to purchase it, that's when the site will prompt you to sign in with your account. And if you don't have one, we'll actually show you a little bit later the idea of creating one when we get to that in the purchasing stage. But I definitely do recommend to everyone to get an account, because it definitely adds a little bit of value when you're searching online. And most of the time, when you get to the point of purchasing, it will actually require you to sign up with an account. So the reason why I mentioned this now is because I wanted to say that the interface will constantly change, especially when you're signed in, based on new things that you purchase and certain search or keywords that you put into the search bar. Okay, now I'm going to pass it over to Shane, who's going to go through the process of finding an item on Amazon and adding it to our cart, which is pretty much kind of the fundamental component of Amazon: finding an item and then making sure that it's an item that you would like, kind of seeing the customer reviews, going through all the details, and then clicking on that add to cart button. So I'm going to pass it over to Shane now, who will go through that process in a sort of demo format. Once again, if you have any questions, please put it into the chat. We aren't taking any questions aloud, at least for the time being, but you could definitely use that chat feature or email me after the class. I'm going to pass it over to Shane now.
So the first thing you would do is use the search bar and then type in the item that you want. So the search bar is right here. So let's say I want to look for computers. So if you just type in the word computer and press search, over 20,000 results came up for computer. So if you want like a specific type of computer, you would go to the drop-down menu over here, and then you would search, like, let's say you could check off the certain brand that you want. So let's say I want an Apple computer. You would get over 1,000 results, and that's a lot still. So you would still go down, and you could say, let's say I want like a larger RAM size. So that would like give more space for like certain like items that you have inside the computer and whatnot. So let's say I want 16 gigabytes. That works. So then from 20,000 results, we got to 27 results, which actually is pretty amazing because Amazon is very smart with their filtering system. So from there, let's say I want this computer. The price is good. The info, I see it's good, so I would click on it from there.
Shay, let me just add one thing. The filtering thing well, what Shane just went through was the idea of filtering a search, where she basically, on the left side of the screen, you're going to get this long list of checkboxes and different options. This is the filtering process, which is usually done as soon as you type in the first keyword. So as soon as you put in that first word computer, then you'll look on the left. But before you even look at the results and begin to go through certain items, not everything here is relevant to each of you. For example, maybe the price you're not concerned about. Maybe that's not something that you want to filter, and you want to see all the prices. Therefore, you would disregard that. But if you know that you only would want to purchase an Apple computer, that means that is what you should have checked off. Another thing to keep in mind is you could check off multiple items in each category. So if I know maybe I want an Apple or a Dell computer, I could check off both items. Obviously, the number of results would increase. It's now at 893, but you want to make sure that the filters really match up with what you're potentially purchasing. If you only want items that customers have reviewed 4 stars or more, meaning you want the best, clicking on that top item, it would be critical because you know that you wouldn't want anything else. Filtering should only be used when you know 100%, I don't want this sort of item or an item in this category. I want to eliminate those from my search. But if you're still considering it, you want to make sure you keep it in the mix. And there are many, if we keep scrolling, I mean, there's a ton of different search terms, especially with computers, which have so many different types of levels of technology. But if you're searching for something a little more specific, it might be a little more general. I would say color comes up a lot, right? If you're searching for clothing items and you put in a t-shirt, right? Obviously, if you're looking for a blue shirt and you check off blue, that's eliminating a lot of different other items. So you want to make sure that when you're using these filters, you're being really, really careful to select only items that you're concerned about searching for. And this process, like I said, is done once you put in that first search term. So step 1, put in computer or put in whatever item you're looking for into that search bar. And then bring your attention directly to the left of the screen and just kind of scroll through, make sure that there's no items here that you would like to restrict, and hopefully there will be a few. And once you kind of check off those items, then your search hopefully should be a little bit more reasonable, and then you could begin to scroll through the right. So Shane said she found, let me go back, this computer over here, I believe it was. And I'll also just point out that you see it even says, that there's some sort of sale here on a 33%. It crosses out $5.99 and says it's $3.99. So that's something that you should also keep in mind. There are always going to be sales online, and if you look hard enough, you'll be able to find ones that really match up with what you're looking for. Okay, back to you, Shane.
And I also want to mention one other thing. There's something called Prime shipping, which if you're signed in, you could get like I would call it like semi-express shipping, but like when you're not signed in, it would give you like this type of option, which it says get it Wednesday, July 20th to Thursday, July 21st, which is very important to see the shipping dates, because sometimes the item would be cheaper and then they would add costs for shipping, and then they would also say like shipping would be like in 3 months, which is like not good. So yeah, I just want to mention that. And then if you're considering purchasing the item or looking into it more, you would like click on it. And then if you scroll down, there's details right here. And then you could see like all those details. And then you could consider it once again if you like the item, if you are considering purchasing it. Jordan, can you scroll? You would add it to cart. But I forgot to mention one thing. Let's backtrack a little bit. If you want to see the ratings, because ratings are very important, you would click right here, 376 ratings. And then if you go scroll down, it's also another way of seeing it. You can see what other people are saying about the product, if they like it, yeah, exactly. And then you can read customized reviews. So people have actually written information about the product. And then if you scroll up, there's also pictures. Jordan, go down a little bit. Okay. Then there's also, you can see questions, you can type in a keyword, and then let's say you want to see how much RAM the product has, just simple. And you can also hover over the picture to see more details, see the color and stuff. So if you do like the product, again, as I mentioned before, you can add it to cart by clicking on this button right here, the yellow button. And then it'll give you a chance for a warranty or some sort of additional like add-on. So for instance, this one is for like a protection plan for a computer. This is common with tech products because they tend to break. And if they do break, you can what's it called, get a free replacement or somewhat of that, or get some amount of like compensation for it if it broke within 3 years. This is the cost. It's totally optional. You do not have to get it. And as you see, there are 2 choices for buttons. One says add and one that says no thanks. For right now, we'll click no thanks because it's unnecessary. And then you could say, let's view the cart. So for viewing the cart, you press on this cart button. And then from there, it'll show you your shopping cart and then your total. Again, you totally do not have to buy this product. You could either delete it, which is saying I do not want it. You could save it for later, which is like maybe I won't buy it now, but I can buy it later. And save for later would be right underneath the shopping cart. So you could always get it later if you would like to. And then there's also this button, which is not used much, but you could compare it with similar items. If you're saying, I really like this product, but maybe it's out of my price range, or I do not like this certain feature about it. Does any other computer have this feature that I do want? So you could do that too. And then if you're happy with the product, you can proceed to checkout by clicking the yellow button right here.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Shane. Before I move on to the checkout, what Shane just took you through was basically the standard recipe, the standard formula of finding an item by putting it into the search bar and filtering, making sure that you would like the product, and then adding it to your cart. Now, let me just open up the item one more time. As Shane was explaining, there's a ton of information here. I mean, much more than you would get in a retail store. There's a bunch of bullet points at the top, and it has all the details and information. It has all these. What's really nice is it kind of pairs it with all these similar items. So it says like items that this computer was purchased with, such as a keyboard and a mouse, and telling you what that total price would be. But this computer comes with one, but it's giving you the recommendation that maybe you would want a second. This category more from frequently bought brands. So obviously kind of similar Apple devices that were also made, right? So there's a lot of Apple stuff coming up. You keep scrolling. So here's also what Shane was mentioning, the whole idea of similar items. It's pulling up other similar items, meaning other desktop Apple computers, and kind of giving you this comparison chart, showing you what the differences is. The first one is the highlighted one in yellow is the one that you're considering, but they're giving you other options with different prices and different levels of technology. Obviously, when you're dealing with technology, there's all these technicalities, but when you're doing shopping for something like clothing, all these details will be a lot shorter because it's not as technical. And scroll out even further, right? We had those questions and answers where you could put in questions or view questions that people asked. Usually there will be answers in response. Looks like for this product, there are even some videos where people are unboxing the computers and explaining kind of what the device is. And then if you get all the way down, what Shane mentioned is those customer reviews, which is a great place to look, especially if you're not sure and you want to verify that this product is what it seems like, because you can't physically see it and hold it before purchasing it. That's the idea of shopping online. And you want to just make sure that other people have gone through pleasant experiences, which it does look like here. It seems like we have a bunch of 5-star reviews. Then you're welcome to scroll all the way down and just read through some of these just to just to kind of comfort you that this product is what it is what it says it is, and you would like to 100% purchase the item, especially when it comes to a computer like this. Now, I'll also point out that if you look at the top right of my screen where it says cart, there's now a little number 1 there, which indicates that there's one item in my cart. And before proceeding to checkout, you're welcome to use that search bar again and search for another item, or trying to find something else. You could add as many items as you would like to that cart until you're ready to make the purchase. If you want to, like, let's say you have 3 items in your cart and you only want to purchase kind of 2 for now, you could always click on the save for later and kind of put that one aside and purchase the items that you would like to at the time that it is. So right now we only have 1 item in the shopping cart. That's this computer over here. And we know it's in our cart because it says shopping cart and the item is listed here. It says our subtotal, which is the same price as the computer because it's only 1 item, but as you add more, you would get a larger subtotal. And then we have that big yellow button at the top right that says proceed to checkout. And I'm going to pass it over to Sophia, who's going to explain a little bit about what the next steps are from here.
Hello. So as they just walked you through, that was the sequence of events leading up to finally checking out. So the beauty of online shopping also is that these things can sit in your cart for 3 days, and then you can come back and finally check out if they're still in stock. But now we'll go through the checkout process. So to begin with, whenever you decide to click on the button proceed to checkout, it will prompt you on websites like Amazon and most other online shopping experiences to sign in with a past account that you've created. So right now you could either sign in with this account using your email, your mobile number. You've done this before. We're just sort of going in with the knowledge that you've already created an account. But if you have not, below you can see the white button says create your Amazon account. So they make it very simple. When it's time to check out, you're like, oh, I don't actually have an account yet. You can just click on create your Amazon account. And then from here, it will ask for information such as your first name, your email, your phone number, a password to where it's secure and only you can get onto this account and look at your cart, purchase things from your cart, things like that. But from here, you will put in your personal information, and you want to always write this down on a piece of paper to where later on, let's say you want to buy something, but you're like, what's my Amazon password? You know, you want to sort of have an archive of somewhere secure that you can write down things like your account name and your password for different online shopping things such as Amazon. So from here, we'll go ahead and, Jordan, are we going to proceed with creating an account or jump to checkout?
We could do a little of this, see where it takes us.
Okay. So from here, we've put in our personal information to create an account, and we will click the yellow button for the next steps to verify email. Sometimes Amazon will have you do security things like this to sort of secure the process along the way. Funny little games like that. From here, it's sent the email that we linked to the account. So Jordan put in his email, and now it just wants to verify that by sending his email a code. So he's going to go see the code and then type it into this bar to where his email and his Amazon account are for sure sort of linked, and they're talking about the correct sort of other half of this equation. So he saw that on his own screen. They want him to also add a mobile number. Things like this are super useful also. Let's say down the road you order something and they have a question or a concern. They then have your email and your phone number to sort of reach out for you to discuss any issues with maybe something you ordered, or it's nice that they sort of have these different modes of contact with you.
I'll also point out these codes are basically when you put in an email or phone number, you could be putting in anyone's email or phone number. So to verify that it's in fact you and your information, they'll basically send you an email or text with this kind of 6-digit code that it would ask you to put in, basically telling you that this is my phone number, this is my email account because I received this code and I have access to it and I'm putting it in. So that's very, very typical, not just on Amazon, but on many, many sites where it will prompt you with this code just to make sure that it's you who's putting in your email account and not someone else's. Okay, well, we could.
So hypothetically, if he were to continue on in that route, Jordan's already made an Amazon account, so that's why he's sort of hitting an error. But you would just sort of follow the steps that they walk you through, and things like the codes and where it's sort of getting tricky, that's just a one-time sort of when you're first creating your account and they're verifying your email and phone number. That's what you do, but it's not like they're asking for that every time you log into Amazon to do this sort of tricky code game back and forth. So from here, if we were to check out with the item in our cart, typically it would also have a place where you put in your address to where this item can be shipped to you. A perk of having an account created is that you can save your address, so it makes it even more streamlined whenever you want to purchase an item. You sort of already have this address in the computer on your account to where really you just click pay and sort of put in your credit card information or gift card information, whatnot. Amazon even has a feature where you can save your payment method as well, to where you can almost just click on that you've previously entered, click on your address and place your order. Things like that you don't have to do. You don't have to save your house address into your Amazon account if you don't want to, but they make it easy with sort of features like that to make the process even quicker.
Okay, is everyone looking at the checkout now? Is that what everyone's here? Perfect. Yeah, so as Sophia was mentioning, shipping address, payment method, all this stuff, you will need to put in the first time you create that account. But once it's put in, what's really nice about the account and why it's kind of enforced is because all that information is now saved, and it's not something you have to put in every single time. You also see that one last step before you click on that big yellow button that says place your order is just by selecting a shipping option. Right now, the free one's selected, but you could always pay additional money in order to receive it at a sooner date, or typically that will be offered. And then you could just verify that the payment items on the right side of the screen, the price, the shipping, etc., and click on place your order, the big yellow button, and it will kind of load a few seconds. It might take a little while, definitely not more than a few seconds. And you just want to wait till you get that kind of confirmation item on the screen that says your order's been placed. Typically, you could also, if you go to Amazon and click on orders, you'll be able to kind of see where the order is in the stage of delivery, where you'll have an item and it will say this item will be coming, on this day, it's now in the shipping stage, or it's now it hasn't been shipped yet, or it's still at the factory, et cetera. It will, if you would like that information, it typically won't update you through email, but you're welcome to go to the Amazon site and click on orders in order to see that piece of information. Okay, that was basically the format or the formula for using Amazon, where you go into the site, you're browsing through its interface, using the search bar to find an item, filtering the search, adding it to the cart, and first making sure that it's what you want to purchase by reading reviews, seeing the pictures, reading all the information, and then proceeding to checkout, creating an account if this is your first time, and putting in all your information. Once you do all that, from now on, that the process of using Amazon will be so much easier, because you basically have your account, and therefore you could just purchase the item without having to put in all that information, because you've done it already. You've saved that information. Okay. I hope that gave you a general sense of not only how to use Amazon, but how to use online shopping sites in general. All of them are relatively the same as we just described today. There are obviously a few key differences depending on what site you're using, but for the most part, they all kind of follow the same formula of finding an item, adding to cart, putting it in the checkout, creating an account, etc. And for those of you that are not kind of big Amazon fans and you use other sites, that's perfectly fine. And if there are some key differences, you're welcome to reach out to me. We just don't have the chance to go through the hundreds of sites that are out there. I thought Amazon was definitely a great tool to present to all of you, just because it's the one that is most commonly used and it's used for the most items. It's not really restricted to one sort of department. Okay, now before we kind of lean towards the end of the class today, I wanted to go through a few points about how to stay safe online. These are kind of key points that you definitely want to keep in mind when you're shopping. Some of these you might not be familiar with. I'm actually going to guarantee that some of these you aren't familiar with. And these are things that you should keep in mind when you're searching online. The first thing is shopping from home. Pretty self-explanatory. I'll pass over to Sophia to explain.
Yeah, so when you're online shopping, you're in the safety of your home, whether that be in the middle of a pandemic, you don't want to leave the house and go to a public space like a store, whether that be late at night, you don't want to go out to a store. When you're shopping from home, it's the safety of your home. At any hour, you can be online shopping, and you know that it's just you and the website in this process.
Yeah, and the other thing there is with the Wi-Fi network, which is that there are public Wi-Fi networks in like a Starbucks or in a community center. Those aren't as safe as kind of browsing and finding an item in your private Wi-Fi network that has a password and is encrypted and it's only you. So if possible, or when possible, you should shop from home, especially when you're dealing with putting in credit card information and items like that. Okay, Sarah, tell us about HTTPS.
Okay, so sometimes when you're on a website, you'll see at the top a link, and it usually starts with HTTPS, especially when it's a website that's very known and everyone uses. And the S stands for security and really safety. And it's just like for your state of mind, if you want to look at the link, if you see that, that means that the website you're using is secure.
Perfect. Now, most of us don't put that HTTPS in when you're putting in the site. Usually just start with www. Or even just go straight to amazon.com. But this is in fact put in automatically at the beginning of every website. So you could just look at the top of the screen and just check to see that you see that S next to the HTTP, therefore verifying that it is safe and secure. Most websites are encrypted and have that S, but if they don't, you definitely want to get off it as soon as possible. All right, I'll pass it over to Shane to talk about researching the company or seller.
So for let's say Amazon, you would not need to research the company or seller because they're a very big public site and a lot of people use them and they're safe. But if you're shopping on like a smaller company that's not really used a lot online, like let's say it's some sort of like boutique that you would find online, but you don't necessarily know if they're safe because they are not like widely used by the rest of the population. So you would, let's say, take their name and search it in Google and like look at the reviews, see if they scammed people. And generally, I would say most of them are safe, but there are some that would scam you, and that's unfortunate. But you would have to like try to filter out those possibilities. So in terms of staying safe, I would recommend staying with like the bigger sites and stuff like that. But if you would like to proceed with a site that's not commonly or widely used, I would recommend Googling them before you purchase anything from them.
Yeah, it's perfect. So anytime you're on a site that you just have no idea what the site is, nor do people around you, you definitely want to check it out and do a little bit of kind of Google research before you put in your information. I would say typically, if possible, and I think this is very possible, just search on the well-known sites, which is it makes it very easy to do that. Maybe there's occasionally once every few years you want to find this really rare item that's just not found anywhere and you have to use this one site in the middle of nowhere. I would just do a little quick check on that. Next thing is to use secure payment methods. Many of you know about PayPal, which we've covered in some of our classes before. That's a really awesome site that basically allows you to put in your bank and credit card information. But what's really nice about it is when you use it to purchase items on online shopping sites, your credit card information and bank information is not revealed to the company, but rather it's just done automatically through the system. It's definitely still safe on big sites, well-known sites, to put in your information, and especially to save it when you have an account. But just an extra step of protection if you would like to use a site like PayPal, which just sends out kind of your name and the fact that you paid, as opposed to all kind of the home address and credit card information, etc. Using a secure payment method such as PayPal would be a beneficial kind of idea. Online banking, which is what we kind of categorize PayPal in, is something that we cover in one of our classes. It's covered in our advanced computers class that you could access on our site, portal.mittlerseniortech.com. We're not going to get into online banking today, but it's a class that we would hopefully do at some point later on, and you could access it on our site. Okay, now the last idea with staying safe is keeping a record, and I'll have Shane explain this last one.
So keeping a record is very important because let's say you ordered something, but it said like shipping would be in 3 days and delivery would be like in another 2. So what you would do is to like keep everything like organized. I would say is to write down the name of the product and when it's supposed to be delivered and shipped. That way you know if you're getting your product on time. And also I would actually say write down the price to see if there's a price change when they charged you. Of course there will be tax and stuff like that because that still applies to online shopping. But if there's a significant price change, you would be able to see if they quote unquote scammed you or they did something that would not be ideal to your order. What I will also say keep a record of is like probably your passwords, your email addresses that you use for different sites, your phone numbers, just so you don't forget your logins, because that can be a little bit of a pain in the neck to deal with if you need something quick and fast and you forgot your password or you don't know what email you used. But yeah, that's like what I would say the main like important key factors of keeping a record are.
Perfect. Yeah. So definitely write down things. It's not too hard. And therefore, you can just kind of check off items when you receive them, making sure that you received it and you were charged the correct amount. Also, a question came up in the chat about kind of websites for product evaluation and kind of making sure that it's a product that you're interested in purchasing. I actually just put it into Google to see what they recommend. And the first thing that came up was Amazon customer reviews, which is what we just showed you. It's really these built-in sites have a lot of these features there for you. And just by scrolling down before purchasing an item and reading through some of those customer reviews, you're able just to kind of verify that this is the item that I want and it has all the features that it promises and it really works if it's something that deals with that. But yes, I would definitely trust those reviews online, especially those big products that just have hundreds of reviews online, and the majority of them seem to be positive. But you're always welcome to take the name of an item, put it into Google, and just kind of see what else comes up, and make sure that it's something that is truly real. Also, one of the recommendation I would have, obviously searching on Amazon, is a great tool. But for example, if you want to buy an Apple computer and in advance, that's what I want to purchase. There's also no harm in going to Apple's website or going to the site of the item that you want to purchase. If you want to purchase a shirt from Nike, you might find that on Amazon, but additionally, you might find that on Nike's website. And typically the price won't change, but in terms of being 100% certain that this is the product of the company and this 100% works a certain way, you're always welcome to use the site of that company. Amazon, what's nice about Amazon is it searches all of them, right? So if you just put in shirts, it won't just give you Nike shirts or Ralph Lauren shirts, etc. It will give you shirts in all the departments. So depending on what you're looking for or what stage you're at in the shopping process, you might not be sure which site to use, but you should definitely kind of decide based on the stage that you're at. Amazon is always a great place to start, but if you have a little more information of where you want to purchase the item, you're also welcome to use the other sites, even check it out, maybe see if there is a price difference. There might be. You're always welcome to do that as well. Okay, so before we kind of wrap up today, I have a few important announcements. First of all, I hope you enjoyed today's class. I'm seeing kind of some smiles from the faces here, which is giving me some good responses. People were asking about the recording. This class was recorded. We record all of our classes. This will be uploaded to our YouTube channel shortly after today's class, and I will make sure to send to all of you, whether it's in our WhatsApp chat or email list, the recording, so you could always go back, rewatch pieces of the class. You'll have access to that for forever. If you are not in the email list or not in our WhatsApp chat and you would like to be added and receive information such as all our recordings, I will put up my email at the end of the class today, so you have that piece of information. Our next free live class will be on the topic of health. And that's how to use certain features, really amazing features on your smartphone and computer to keep track of certain things like health records and medications, and keep track of your steps. And just a variety of different things. I'll be sending tons of reminders about this. This class is taking place on July 31st at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to be there for that. That's a class that we have not done in a while. So for those of you that have been taking classes with us, this should be something relatively new for you. Additionally, we offer free Tech Tip Tuesdays, a new kind of series. Every single Tuesday, we send out to our email list, WhatsApp chat, and all our social media platforms a short kind of 60 to 90 second clip that is for free on some sort of topic on your smartphones. We've gotten tons of positive feedback. Make sure to check those out. We will continue to send them every Tuesday. And additionally, for more information, you could always follow us if you do have accounts on social media, such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, a new one that we have. Not sure too many people here have that, but you're welcome to follow us on social media platforms where we're constantly posting new events that we have going on. I'll make one more announcement like I made at the beginning of the class. For the full experience with Mittler Senior Technology, and if you enjoyed today's class, everyone should go to the blue link on the screen after today's class. That's portal.mittlerseniortech.com, portal.mittlerseniortech.com. You'll receive an email from me after today's class about this again, but everyone should go to this site if you have not yet done so and sign up for one of our two world famous courses, Computer Basics and Advanced Computers, both of which are 10-lesson professionally recorded classes that take you through all the fundamentals that are necessary to live in the 21st century, from email to messages to internet to online shopping to online banking, social media, really everything that you need to know in the 21st century, from stage one to stage infinity. Computer Basics is for those of you that really want to start from ground level and build up. Advanced Computers are for those of you that already feel confident. I always recommend starting with the basics class first, even if you think you're ready for the advanced. I think it's always a great class to kind of start with the fundamentals. But if you think you're super advanced, you're welcome to go straight to the advanced class and sign up there. Once again, the link is portal.mittlerseniortech.com, and everyone's welcome to email me following the class. I want to thank everyone so much for attending today's class. Thank you to Sophia, to Sarah, and to Shane for being here and teaching components of the class. You'll be seeing us a lot more throughout the summer. Stay tuned for a message from us later today with the recording of today's class. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.